Okay, good evening. I want to welcome everyone to our second installment of this year's District Advisory Committee and its relationship with the Local Control Accountability Plan. Most of tonight will be focused in around the LCAP annual renewal and the specific changes or amendments that we're making to it. And so before I turn this over to Dr. Gill for her portion of the presentation, just a quick reminder that we are living through a massive restructuring of funding, measuring, and explaining what we do in education in California, starting with the 2012 adoption of the local control funding formula and the local control accountability plan as a means to explain how we're doing business. The intent is to soften up what many felt were the draconian measures of No Child Left Behind, in that when they first adopted it in 2000, a national reform moved forward where the advanced and proficient measure was 11% and 17%, and that meant you met your mark. But by 2014, all students were intended to be advanced and proficient, and the measurement system that they created essentially said that if you're not advanced and proficient, if you fall below that, you haven't done well. But what ended up happening is a lot of high poverty urban areas, low achieving school districts and schools had some very good growth in some instances, but because they didn't meet this ever growing escalating scale, they were deemed program improvement year 1, then year 2, then year 3, then year 4, and suddenly by 2012, the reality had hit that the draconian measures were really not helping anyone because everyone felt that they were failing. And so Washington, D.C. did its part in terms of changing to the Common Core. California adopted its model, the Smarter Balance Assessment Consortium, SBAC. And lo and behold, here we are with a new test, CASP, and a new system. So in the spirit of that, there is a new dashboard, which we're just trying to wrap our heads around, that's supposed to be a partner. And so we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of that because we're still trying to figure it out. And Dr. Gill told me that it's a 100-page, the dummy's guide to how to do this dashboard is 100 pages long. So we're going to ask for a little time to do some analysis and try to understanding the metrics. But in theory, the way it's supposed to work is local control accountability and local control funding, where every kid gets their ADA block grant of money, and then for all English learners, low income, or foster youth students, additional monies come in. And for districts with large populations in those three areas, additional monies come in for every student beyond 55%. So that's the new model for money. LCAP's the new model for explaining, and the dashboard is supposed to say, here's how you're doing, but in a way that doesn't feel like everyone's a failure. And so what we know so far is the dashboard comes with colors and pie charts. There's no specific numbers, and so you want to shoot for colors blue and green, and you don't want to be red or orange. And yellow is somewhere in the middle, and you want to be on the upward slope. So I think that's the attempt to use colors as a means to have multiple measures look at how schools and kids and districts are doing. I can also say that in the community college system, across California, they are moving away from a single measure, a single number for student placement in their programs and going into multiple measures as well. So I think what you'll see at the end of this cycle is a multiple measures K-14, where there is a number that you can attach to a kid, but it has multiple factors attached to it. And the state is looking at metrics that are well beyond just reading and math, which was another failure or at least a weakness to the No Child Left Behind system. So with all that said, I do want to say the one thing we hoped that wouldn't happen with the LCAP has happened. It is now a 113-page document. Brian Shum, you ask how many pages? And I tell you 113 pages. Now, it's not just one singular column. There are many parts of the LCAP that are in multiple columns within a page. So I think if we were to spread it out and put it into 12-point font, we're looking at a good 200 pages. So who in their right mind would read a 113-page document? You ask Irene Busatil. I don't know. I know that Dr. Gill has. And, but I can also say that the real function of tonight is to break through 113 pages to reality. So the last thing I'll say is in 2014, let me get my dates right. I'm sorry. In 2013, the district board adopted a strategic plan after a significant outreach to the community. That strategic plan was supposed to last 5 years. The following year, the LCAP mandate came, and those two things, the strategic plan and the LCAP, were married together. The following year, the state changed the template. And the following year after that, the state changed the template and the reporting mechanism, which is now based on colors and pie charts. So we are going to evolve with this. We are going to learn from it. We're going to take the information. But what we can't do really is say tonight that we're going to get Lammersville Unified is X number, and all the schools are Y number, and we measure ourselves against another group of people, schools, or districts, and say we're better than you or you're better than us. The colors are going to kind of drive it. We do know that we will also, the bar graph system that existed with the CASP website will continue, and that's where we'll be able to compare ourselves with other regional school districts and schools. So it's just not going to be as clear-cut as the API score was in the old STAR system. So with that said, what Dr. Gill is going to review a little bit tonight is the annual renewal. So remember that the LCAP is a 3-year document with an annual renewal. We are in a process of identifying any changes we made to the existing LCAP, and Dr. Gill has simplified that onto 1 page. Brian Shum, you ask how many pages? And I say 1 page. So from 113 pages to 1 page. So we're very proud of that. And yes, in the spirit of the state of California, we use colors. The colors you'll see tonight are green and yellow, because I understand that that's the only team that will be existing in Oakland moving forward. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Gill and have her give her presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Nicholas. Good evening, everyone. So as Dr. Nicholas pointed out, that the LCAP document by itself is about 113 pages, and this is what it looks like. You have received this document in your emails already. We also sent it to the entire community via EduLink. It is posted on our website, including the highlights that are yellow and green are in there as well. So, and the good thing is this is the second time we have sent this document out there. And believe it or not, some people actually did give us feedback. I know PLC team read through it, and different school sites have given us feedback. So we really appreciate you taking the time to do that. So in our presentation today, our major focus, our major goal ultimately is to prepare our students for college and careers. And today's presentation is mainly going to focus on just providing you some background with California School Dashboard, and also how to look at the interface of dashboard, and finally our updates specifically for the renewal, going over the 1-page document, which is the summary. And Brian Shum, you're going to get lots of questions today from me too. Just get ready. Today's your day. So new accountability system. The purpose is to build on LEA's strength with the priority areas. There are 8 priorities. I'm going to go into them in a second. And then develop capacity of LEAs to address disparities in student groups. You're going to notice that too. There's a major focus on specific subgroups of students within the California School Dashboard. And then finally, support the LEAs to identify and improve areas of low performance. As Dr. Nicholas mentioned, instead of having one API score or focusing just on one academic goal or one academic achievement number, the California School Dashboard looks at many different, from attendance to suspensions, climate, parent involvement, all sorts of different things. And then The second portion, by focusing on different subgroups, it looks at the idea of equity, and then finally, decision-making processes, decision-making control at the local level to support the school sites. The idea is that with that, school sites having more control over not only focusing on one score, but looking at several different areas, and not only making somebody feel really bad because their scores are low, that's the only thing people look at, is kind of ultimately supporting the school sites and districts with that. These are the key features. There are 3 local and 6 state indicators for 8 priorities. And I'm sure you're familiar with these priorities. These are the ones that LCAP has been focused on for the past 3 years. These all must be addressed in the LCAP, and now the California School Board is also aligned. Ultimately, our LCAP also has the California dashboard data in there. So the first one is teacher assignment, making sure the students have the right curriculum and right materials, and then facilities. In other words, it kind of matches with the Williams Act. You might be familiar with the Williams Act. That's what that is. Second one is the implementation of content standards. Parent involvement, engagement is the third priority. And then fourth one is student achievement. Pupil engagement from many different perspectives. They look at things like, are the students engaged? Do you have different subgroups of students engaged, like in extracurricular activities and AP classes and all sorts of different things. School climate, this is where the school culture, those kind of surveys come out. And then access to broad course of study, such as CTE classes, AP classes, that all sorts of students have access to those classes. And then finally, outcome in a broad course of studies. Those are the 8 priorities. And here it breaks down for you that which one of these are state indicators and which one of these are local indicators. Just in a nutshell, how do they figure out the data for state indicators is, the state looks at the CASP scores, and they also looked at the rest of the data based on our CalPAD data. So whatever we enter in CalPADs in ARIES, from ARIES, there's data that we report to the state for absences, for graduation, for suspension, for college and career readiness, all different kind of things. And then ultimately that goes into California School Board. A school dashboard. And then the local indicators, which we are not required to do anything with this year, but something that we will be required to actually report next school year, which are the basic conditions at school sites, which is, again, the Williams Act piece. We do that anyway, so for us it's not a big thing because that's something, we do all of these anyway. But we will be next year required to report that in the dashboard as well. Green ones are considered state priorities. The other ones is basically the data that we produce the data. Green one is where the state gives us the data, which is ultimately given by us to the state anyway, other than CASP. Sure. So here are 2 videos on what a school dashboard is. The first video is going to talk about the purpose of the dashboard, what does it include, how does it work. We're going to watch that video. Second video will look at how to look for it. So let's watch this first video, then we'll go into the second one.
This dashboard puts you in the driver's seat with a map of school accountability to support continuous improvement, progress, growth. To review your district or school data, visit casschooldashboard.org. And for the latest information and resources on the new accountability system, visit axa.org/accountability.
So in a nutshell, what it talks about is that the new system, the accountability system, encompasses lots of different data points, qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative, most of them are the local priority ones, and quantitative is what state gives to us or what is given to the state from us via CalPADs. So there is no single number anymore like an API score. Some people are disappointed because of that, because that's kind of showed which school is doing really at the top or how many numbers you need to improve. We will still have the CASP scores and the percentages, so we'll still be able to compare ourselves with the other schools or other school districts and so on through CASP scores, but it does look at lots of different features aligned with the priorities. So the second video talks about how to look for, how to access this dashboard from the CDE website. It is public data now. It was made available to the public on March 15th, I believe. So they're still working on one of the portions of it, but all three of them are out there. The only thing that the state has said is this is a pretty preliminary data, so it is not 100% there. As you are going to notice, some of the data is like 14, 15, 13, 14's data, so it's not necessarily up to the par data, recent data. But you're going to notice, too, that as we go along and we learn more about it, we'll bring more information to you. But I just want to share that with you, that some of the data is 2 years old in this dashboard.
Welcome to the California School Dashboard. This tutorial will highlight the features of the dashboard and other resources available on this website. When you access the California School Dashboard, the first page you see is the home screen. This page contains a search bar and links to resources such as the Fast Start Guide. You can search for a district or school by typing the name into the search bar. Select the search button and then select the school or district from the resulting list. Once you have selected a school or district, the dashboard will be displayed on the screen. It displays basic information. There are 4 different reports on the dashboard. The first report is the Equity Report, which displays the performance level on all state indicators, as well as information about how student groups are performing. The Equity Report will also display the local indicators for districts only, as this information is not reported at the school level. The other reports can be accessed using the navigation tabs directly above the indicator information. The Status and Change report shows the status and change for all of the state indicators. Selecting a state indicator will bring up detailed information about student group performance on the selected indicator. This list can also be filtered by performance levels. The detailed report shows information about performance over time and will be available in April 2017. The final report available on the dashboard is the Student Group Report. This report provides the performance level for all the state indicators across student groups. Thank you for watching this short tutorial on the California School Dashboard.
So, as the video said, that there are 5 different levels from the colors, basically, they say, and Dr. Nicholas mentioned that earlier too, from red all the way to blue, and our goal is to be either stay in blue and green. That's where everybody else wants to stay as well. And then red and orange mean that we have room for improvement, and yellow kind of means the same thing. Yellow means we're maintaining specific place. We are still learning more about it at our own levels as well. This is brand new to us as well. As we learn more about it, we get our data as well and do a thorough study of our data. So we'll bring more information, present more information even about our school district as well, and our data as well in the next DAC meeting in May. So any questions on the school dashboard? Questions? Okay. So the last thing I want to share with you is this beautiful document that we are very proud of. So you might remember this document from last year as well. We did something similar last year as well, because this document is very complex just even to take a look at, let alone read it. So what we have done is we have gone into this document and highlighted either in green or yellow. Green meaning we're adding those programs new this year, or they will be new next school year. Either they could be staffing, it could be programs, it could be any update within our goals and so on. And then yellow is we're keeping the same programs, but we're making some changes in them. So for example, page number 2 in this document, right here, I printed one copy, didn't want to waste too many trees, but you do have this copy, this document in your email. If you would like a hard copy, please let me know. We'll happy to give you hard copies as well of this big document. So this aligns with this document aligns with that right here. It says, so for example, implementation of ELA, ELD curriculum in all K-8 grades. That's what we are doing this year, first year. So that was new to us this year. So that's why it's green. And then professional development for teachers regarding implementation of the ELD. So that was another thing that we really focused on this year a lot more as compared to the previous years, especially with the new curriculum. So that's your goal. And then a couple of the other things where, like towards the end, you're going to notice that we have on page 50 that we are going to be starting the online and hybrid programs to provide alternative ways for high school students to receive education. That's going to be new to us next year. So any programs that are new, again, are highlighted in green. Any of them we're just making some changes, or we already had them, but we're adding to them or something like that. So for example, page 91, iPads and laptops for Project Lead the Way. We have been doing that for the past 4 years now. So that's not new, but we bought additional ones of those, so we added that in yellow font. So we try to make it easier so that you will notice that rest of the funding, and we're going to go over on budget in depth in the next meeting as well, the rest of the funding is going to go on as usual, but there will be additional costs for these things, either professional developments or buying new equipment or hiring new staff, depending on new than green. So these will be the additional expenses so that you would be able to locate these in this document as well. So where are they? Because they're all highlighted. Questions on any of the changes and updated for the annual renewal? No questions? Okay, so the last slide we have is here is a request, and you guys have done in the past as well. We are asking everybody to do the same exact thing again. If you can review the document, and we're going to review it in different teams as well, because we know that, like, for example, different staff members review it during a staff meeting. PLC team reviews it. We will do that again as well. And then with the parent groups as well, like foundations, site councils, PTAs, and so on, booster clubs, any of them. And this is a request we made from the site administrators too. So if we can all review it by April 14th, and provide feedback, so then we will make updates, and we will also include budget in there. Because Alvina will be adding, by then she'll have a pretty good idea about the budget. She'll be adding the budget information in there as well. So our goal will be that by second week of May, we would like to send you the semi-final, basically, document LCAP document so that everybody has an opportunity to take a look at it ahead of time, the big document. And then if you have questions, please email the questions to Alvina and I or Dr. Nicholas, any of us. And we will make those changes. So our goal will be to have it as final as possible by May 24th. Because May 24th is, the goal is that we can do ahead of time, we can do all the background work so that on May 24th, we as a team here in DAC can approve it, and then it will go to the board for first reading on June 7th. So that's the plan. Questions, comments?
The reality of this document is that we are remaining very focused on what we said we were going to do and being consistent to it. There's always changes, there's plans that roll out and you have to make adjustments, but to only have, 15 or so changes, and some of them are substantive changes like new adoption. It's important to, you can't do too many things at one time, and you have to give things an opportunity to have people learn it the first time, try it the second time, get professional development, and if you do that systematically, you should see a small list of changes. And so, even though the document is gargantuan, this is a pretty good list of work to do that our teachers and our site administrators and district staff are working on, and I think it's a perfectly sized amount of very, very important stuff that are going on here.
Okay, thank you. So again, huge thanks to Jen and Noel and Dr. Nicholas and Alvina for your help with all of this, putting this together. And I also want to take the time to thank our directors and site administrators for continue to providing feedback, because what you do, taking it out to the community at different levels is a huge help. So thank you.
Quickly, I just wanted to say a couple things real quick. This frustrates me. This is painful. My involvement with CSBA, we have a board meeting this weekend, and this is on the agenda, excuse me, and someone from CDE is supposed to be there to hear us. But the data reflects what I see on a daily basis, is that the teachers are in a classroom doing a great job because our students are learning and they're testing well. And that couldn't be done without the coordination of everybody here. So on behalf of the board, thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do. And thank you for being here tonight. We hold these meetings late to try and engage our community, and it's not working. They're not here, but you are. It's noticed, it's appreciated. So on behalf of the board, thank you. Trustee Clements, anything else? Thank you.
So the special award winner is Bernice Tingle as our community representative, so thank you very much. And because you also have another hat you wear with the Community Service District Board, we do appreciate the support coming from our partners across the field. So with that said, if no one else has any questions, essentially what Dr. Gill laid out here is they're giving us a new measurement system that we'll figure out. That probably will take a couple of years, but we'll roll it out as it comes. The changes to the document are on a single page, and you can find them in the 113 pages if you want to do it that way. Dr. Gill has already emailed you a draft of that. Is that correct, Dr. Gill? And so the next meeting, we'll talk about the expenditures, and we'll talk about any questions you'll have about the document that you were given tonight. And then ultimately, somewhere in June, we'll approve this annual renewal based on those green and yellow things. And that's the plan. So if no other questions, yes, ma'am.
I'd just like to give us some feedback. I am so proud of what Lammersville School District is doing with our children in the community. As you know, I've been heading the Youth Action Committee, the YAC, for probably about 8 years now. And I am just amazed at the quality of kids that come through and how smart, how alert they are, and how they focus on learning. I know a lot of the activities that we have, when it's time for fun stuff, they always really want to focus on those things that highlight the academic. And I'm just so proud of the Lammersville kids who are taking advantage of the higher learning program going through Delta. But I'm proud of the kids because I tell them all the time, be smart because it helps with property taxes. And that's all to Lammersville School District. You're doing a fantastic job with our kids.
Thank you very much. All right, well, we will mark this at 7:02 p.m., and we'll call this meeting concluded. Thank you.